We talked about the importance of akhlaq, the definition of akhlaq. The akhlaq is your internal appearance, the appearance of your soul. We talked about every quality is a middle between two extremes. And I gave many examples of that. We talked about how rather than changing somebody, it's better to see my natural disposition, my fitrah, where do I belong best? Where can I worship Allah best? Where do I need to find my place in the grand scheme of things? And lastly, most importantly, we talked about how do you change? What are the means and mechanisms to change? And we said the first is you have to sit down and you have to evaluate yourself. Don't wait for the day of judgment. Don't wait for the MOT to check the engine. You should check it on a periodic basis, on a daily basis, on a weekly, monthly. My character, how is it? And ask the people around you to give you feedback. To give you feedback about your character. Number 2, as-suhbah. Choosing the right companions will change your life. And the more frequently you are with good people, this will completely change. Number 3, we said responsibility. This changed Umar ibn Khattab and softened him. The man who was harsh and hard and courageous and taking a certain position of responsibility, it softened him. And Masjid al-Furqan needs volunteers. So those of you who are inspired to take some responsibility in life, please come and talk to Masjid al-Furqan team afterwards. Really. It takes an army to run these institutions. And everybody who is scared of commitment and want to stick to their routine, unfortunately because of this, it ends up being the burden on a very few number of people. Taking commitment, taking responsibility will change your character. And last but not least, marriage and family, and using them as a mirror to your own soul. Number 1, it requires to sit down, have an honest conversation with yourself about who am I and what are my good and bad qualities. Now, coming to the akhlaq themselves. Ibn al-Qayyim, may Allah have mercy on him, says that all akhlaq comes down to 4 primary akhlaq. 4 primary inward characteristics that you need to develop. Either you are extreme on one side or the other side, but you need to develop these 4 things. The first one he says is as-sabr, self-control. The second one he calls is ash-shaja'ah, the courage, the ambition, the drive to do things. The third one, he calls it al-adl, justice, being fair, being balanced, putting things in the right place at the right time, knowing when to speak, when to do something, having good judgment, good decision-making skills. The best definition for adl is not justice, it's situational judgment. Situational judgment. Being able to judge in this moment, what's the right thing for me to do, right thing for me to speak, what tone, how should I, in this moment. The people who have this, we call them hukama, they have hikmah, they have wisdom, they know how to. Most doctors, I think, if I'm not mistaken, before you get your medical license, you have to do a situational judgment test, where they test, patient comes to you, they sit, they do this, how will you react? How will you respond? What will you say? How will you stand? This is all judgment, this is all adl. How do you react in the situation? And the last one he calls is al-iffah, which means your ability to say no to temptations. So what are the 4 qualities? As-sabr, number 1. Ash-shaja'ah, courage, drive, ambition, the desire to do things. Yeah. The third one, al-adl, which is situational judgment, good judgment, al-adl. And the last one, saying no to temptation, al-iffah, your ability to resist a temptation. He says these 4 are the heart and the core of all good qualities. If you focus on these 4 qualities, everything else will be fine. Ibn al-Qayyim says that every good quality is a balance between 2 extremes. Let's take the quality of anger, for example. Your level of anger is 0 to 100, yeah, or out of 10, 0 to 10. He says the correct anger is 5 out of 10, it's right in the middle. There is a 10 and there is a 0. Both of these are extreme, these are both bad qualities. So what's 10 out of 10 anger? What would you call that? Rage. Somebody who cannot, they will lose their mind, they break things. They might attack people if they get angry. You guys might know somebody like this. That's rage. Okay, what's 0 out of 10? Someone who's a coward. Their own child curses them. And they say, well, Ustadh Hisham said, sabr. When you see something that breaks the rules of Allah, it should anger you. But a healthy level of anger. There's unhealthy anger. And there's also unhealthy level of passiveness. Why did Allah place these qualities within us? Of anger, of jealousy, of hatred, of love. There is a positive reason why these things exist. If we didn't have anger, we would not protect our families. We would not protect our rights. We would not protect our salawat. The ghadabun mahmud, there's a good part of anger, good angle to look at it. So it's not, Oh, someone slapped me in one cheek, I'll give them the other, and then I'll sing a song for them, and then I'll massage their feet. That's not. There is a 0 and a 10. So Ibn al-Qayyim is saying, you should aim to be right in the middle, in the balanced portion. You need to have a degree of anger so nobody messes with you. And you need to know when to express that anger, in what form, in a controlled manner, in a calculated manner. For example, it comes in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He would never express his anger. If his own rights were taken, فَإِذَا انْتُهِكَ حَقُّ اللَّهِ لَمْ يَقُمْ أَحَدٌ لِغَضَبِهِ. But if one of Allah's rules were broken, nobody could stand in front of his anger. So he would get angry, but for the right things, in the right manner. The Prophet ﷺ is giving a speech, okay? He's giving a khutbah. Now, do you think he's giving a khutbah like nicely singing qasa'id and cute khutbahs? No. When he's giving the khutbah, the hadith says, كَأَنَّهُ مُنذِرُ جَيْشٍ. His face would become red like he's warning an army. Okay, so he has a level of strength, a level of might, a level of anger that's expressed in the right way, in a balanced manner. So Ibn al-Qayyim says, many people, they get it wrong when it comes to these qualities and characteristics and akhlaq. They say anger is bad, as though anger is always bad. Right? Tolerance is good, as though it's good in all forms and categories. No, he said there is a refined, you have to look at it more deeply, you have to zoom in. So now let me ask you, ar-rahmah, mercy. Somebody who has too much mercy, what would you call that person? Humble man? No. Humility, humility is another word, another quality, tawadu'. Yes, go on. A pushover. What is a pushover? It's somebody who cannot say no to anything. Somebody who is weak. There's weakness in their personality, in their characteristics, because they're too merciful. You come, they're selling you some food. You come, you say, brother, subhanAllah, give me a discount. He says, take it free. That's fine 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. But if you do it the whole month, who's going to feed your kids? Right? So there is a level of mercy that's unhealthy. It's exaggerated. You're so merciful that actually you've become a pushover. That's not rahmah anymore. That's mahana. That's weakness. Okay, there's another extreme. Somebody with no mercy. How would you call such a person? Jabbar, somebody who is mighty. How would you call such a person? Somebody who's harsh. They're cold. Their child is crying. They're looking at them. No response, no reaction, no emotion. Habibi, are you a Statue of Liberty? React, move. You know, when you go to the King's Palace in London, usually there are those guards, right, who don't move. Yeah, that's the other extreme. Emotionless, stoic, no response. Habibi, no problem. We need to see some emotion. Ibn Qayyim's point, he says, every personality trait has two extremes and a balanced middle. And the aim is, we want to be at the balanced middle of every two extremes. At-tawadu', humility. Can somebody be too humble? Somebody comes and they curse Islam and they swear at my mum, and I'll say, subhanAllah, brother, you know, I'm just a humble man, just a simple man. And he's cursing my mother and swearing at my religion, and I'm just quiet, trying to be humble. Is that humility? What would you call that? That's a level of weakness. That's a problem. What's the opposite of humility? The other extreme. Arrogance. I have so much self-confidence that I think I'm the best and I'm better and I'm above you and we're superior to those people. And I won't let you speak, I'll keep cutting you off. Somebody with too much humility, sometimes having too much humility is a problem. You're sitting in a meeting, something's being discussed. The people who are too passive or they have weak personalities or they're too humble, they don't speak in the meeting, they're quietly listening. You look at them, they smile. Yes, I agree. You look at them, brother, agree, disagree? Oh, subhanAllah, who am I to agree or disagree? Allahu Akbar, very humble. He leaves the meeting. Can you imagine what was just discussed? MashaAllah, humility became backbiting. Oh no. Yes, so this is the point of Ibn Qayyim, is he said, any extreme personality trait, if you're not careful, it will lead to sin, and it will lead to dhulm, and it will lead to problems in your life, in your family life, your personal life, your friends, in your workplaces, because of this. Because you are one of two extremes. Are these qualities, are you born with them or do you develop them over time? Let's just take, for example, the patience. Some people are more patient than others, right? Some people you can put them, they miss their train and they lose their job and they're still sitting there, sabirin. Other people, you touch them and he jumps 6 foot in the air. Are we born with some level of patience? Or do you notice at a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, a level of patience, and then are they born? Is it genetic? Does it come from birth? Is there some of it from birth, or it's all developed over time? Mr. Danish, go on, enlighten us. The pregnancy affects how the child is? Okay, give me an example. What kind of pregnancy might affect the child's patience? So you're saying there's some evidence to show that if there's a lot of conflict and fighting, etc., during the pregnancy, this child can be a bit more impatient. Okay. What the brother is saying is that if a mother plays Quran, a child can absorb some of this. They might become familiar with the sound of the Quran. It might change their temperament, etc. Okay. There are two qualities you have that Allah and His Messenger love. Al-hilmu wal-anat. You are very tolerant. You take a lot of problems from people. You are very patient with them. Al-hilm. And al-anat. You are very calculated and careful with your decisions. You're not in a rush. I have a hadith for all of you. Hadith of Al-Ashaj ibn Abdi Qais radiyallahu anhu. He asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, أتخلقت بهما يا رسول الله أم جبلت عليهما? Did I learn these qualities or was I born with them? The Prophet ﷺ says, جبلت عليهما. You were born, you were built in your system configuration. It was already there. And he says, Alhamdulillah, that Allah gave me qualities that Him and His Messenger loves. On the basis of this hadith, there are some levels, some qualities, it's in your innate disposition to be more in this way. You have a fitrah. And then you build on these qualities based on environment, based on your teachers, based on your parents, based on your mentors, based on your experience in life. You either become more this or you become less of this based on your environment. But there is a base, a default level of qualities that a person is born with in the world.